Welcome to the Football Regulatory Podcast, the show where global football governance meets regional realities. If you've ever thought to yourself, there must be a better way to understand how FIFA's legal system actually works, well, you're in the right place. Because here's the truth. Most people working in football, from club executives to federation presidents and general secretaries, sporting directors, agents, and even in some cases, lawyers, don't fully understand how FIFA's legal system functions in practice. And it's funny because the rules are accessible online. But understanding how those rules are interpreted, applied, and enforced, otherwise known as Lex Sportiva, well, that knowledge is often locked behind legal jargon, untranslated rulings, or institutional gatekeeping. And this is particularly true within the CONCACAF region, where clubs often lack football-specific legal departments. Agents are able to operate without proper licensing, distorting the line between coach, talent manager, and intermediary. Training compensation and solidarity payments are misunderstood and consequently entirely missed out on. And disputes, football-related disputes, go unfiled, not because they're unwinnable, but either because no one knows how to file them, or when they do, the distance and cost is just too inaccessible for them. So this podcast is for clubs who want to operate professionally, helping to shape global football governance, not just survive within it. Agents who want to act with global credibility, not with local confusion. Players associations working to build legal infrastructure from the bottom upward. And students and professionals looking to break into football law, especially within the CONCACAF region. If you've ever felt that football regulatory is too complex, too foreign, or too disconnected from our region, well, this show was built for you. This podcast isn't about dry lectures or legal theory. It's about unpacking the real-world application of FIFA's rules, how they actually affect your work, your contracts, your players, and your opportunities for the future. Each episode will focus on one of three main areas: how football stakeholders, including clubs and players, manage cross-border conflicts and succeed before the FIFA Football Tribunal or the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Regulatory systems, including the FIFA regulations on the status and transfer of players, the FIFA Football Agents regulations, the FIFA Disciplinary Code, and relevant club licensing regulations like the Financial Fair Play regulations of UEFA. Compliance strategy, how clubs, agents, and federations can align their operations with FIFA's evolving legal expectations. Breakdowns of training compensation and solidarity payments, who owes what, when it's triggered, and why grassroots clubs in our region are missing out on significant financial returns. This is particularly the case with the establishment of the FIFA Clearinghouse, which was created in 2022. We'll also do deep dives into the FIFA Football Agents regulations, including licensing, litigation, and the compliance burden on North American and Caribbean agents. We'll provide a full walkthrough on how disputes are really won, not just by having a solid contract or a good legal team, but by understanding the system that governs the FIFA Football Tribunal. We'll also be joined by experts in the future who've worked inside the system, from general secretaries, executive directors, legal directors for clubs, leagues, and players' unions, regulatory experts within football, and, wherever possible, legal experts and insiders from FIFA and the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Whether you're in a boardroom, a classroom, or at a training ground, these conversations will give you access to a world that's been structurally out of reach for most of our region. This podcast is currently being recorded all the way up north in Canada, but it's built for the entire Northwestern Hemisphere. That means all of CONCACAF. From Toronto to Guatemala City, from Kingston, Basse-Terre, and Bridgetown, to Willemstad and Paramaribo. This is for professionals across the region who have been excluded from football's global regulatory frameworks. Because while football law conversations are usually shaped in Zurich, Madrid, Brussels, London, Rio, and now more recently, Miami, right now. At Pitchside Sports Consulting, we've already worked with Caribbean players and clubs trying to understand football's regulatory system, how to navigate issues before the FIFA Football Tribunal, agents preparing for international transfers and navigating cross-border disputes, federation staff who have recognized the value in football legal education, and players associations building legal strategies and domestic infrastructure from the bottom upwards. This podcast brings those same insights directly to you in plain language, digestible, without gatekeeping. So the question is, why now? Well, because football's regulatory ecosystem is evolving, it's innovating, and it's going fast. The FIFA Clearinghouse has gone live, automating cross-border payments nearing the numbers of $350 million and counting. The FIFA Football Agents regulations have been adopted, contested, and are now in legal flux globally. The FIFA Disciplinary Code was revised as of a few weeks ago, and club licensing systems like the Financial Fair Play regulations are being enforced more aggressively across confederations, as evidenced by the recent UEFA ruling, who saw certain clubs suffer significant financial penalties for breaking the regulatory system. Meanwhile, most of CONCACAF, including Canada, the USA, and the Caribbean, remained out of the margins of these developments. This podcast is designed to close these gaps because the system won't wait for us to catch up. And if you're not ready, you're not participating. You're just on the sideline watching. According to the latest FIFA Football Tribunal report from 2023-2024, 19,589 total cases, applications, and inquiries were filed globally, the highest number ever. Yet less than 5% of those cases came from CONCACAF, a region where 41 member associations and nearly a third of FIFA's total membership is visible. Only 3%, consequently, of the $350 million in training compensation and solidarity contributions reached our region. This is in accordance with the FIFA Clearinghouse report most recently enacted. Most agents here are still operating without licensing, or worse, unknowingly out of compliance. Federations to continue to fail fundamental governance benchmarks. And countless players are still signing unenforceable contracts with no pathway to dispute resolution. So, let me be clear. This is not a talent problem. This is a legal literacy problem. It's a compliance understanding issue. And as Pitchside Sports Consulting has defined it, it is generally a capacity gap within the region. And that's why Pitchside Sports Consulting exists, to bridge that specific gap. This podcast is just a mechanism to bridge the knowledge to make it accessible to the region. Because transparency in football law should not be a luxury. It should be the standard. So, with all of that said, who am I? Why am I doing this? My name, Andrew Marco Werners. I'm a Canadian, Dutch, Caribbean legal advisor in international sports law and the founder of Pitchside Sports Consulting, which is the only football regulatory consultancy operating in the Northwestern Hemisphere. From there, I became one of just 50 lawyers globally accepted into the LLM in international sports law at ISDE in Madrid, which is done in partnership with Wolfson College at Cambridge University. By the account of many football regulatory experts, this is the most competitive and globally recognized training program for lawyers specializing in FIFA regulatory matters, CAS jurisprudence or Lex Sportiva, and international football governance. I've advised Canada's national team players through the Canadian Soccer Players Association, focusing on collective bargaining, representation rights, and governance reform. Through Pitchside, we also maintain an ongoing relationship with PFA Can, the FIFPro affiliated player union in Canada, supporting their legal compliance and professionalization development within Canada. From an international standpoint, I've represented clients before the FIFA Football Tribunal and the Court of Arbitration for Sport. I've worked with boutique firms like ESL Sports Law in London, who have handled cases in football law in the regions of the Middle East, North Africa, and within Europe. I also served as a judicial clerk to a sitting FIFA Football Tribunal judge, gaining rare behind-the-scenes insight into how global disputes are actually adjudicated, not in theory, but in practice. Separately, I was appointed as the first in-house lawyer to the World Leagues Association, a global coalition of 44 professional leagues acting as FIFA stakeholders and political actors aligned with the International Labour Organization and FIFPro. My portfolio included advising leagues like the English Premier League, German Bundesliga, MLS, Canadian Premier League, Liga MX, the J League in Japan, the K League in South Korea, the UAE Pro League, and the Saudi Pro League. In South Africa, the Premier Soccer League. In South America, Central America, Liga de Mayor in Colombia, Liga Promérica in Costa Rica, and the Dutch Eredivisie. In 2022, I traveled to Dubai for the World Leagues Association annual meeting hosted by the UAE Pro League. This was a strategic convening of global league executives that finalized positions on several of FIFA's legal reforms. This included the FIFA Football Agents Regulations, the FIFA Clearinghouse, the new rules governing international transfers of minors, and the updates on the international match calendar. From there, I briefly connected with some of FIFA's regulatory professionals, including the Director of Professional Football Relations, and later the FIFA Director of Football Regulatory, both central figures in the current regulatory transformation of the sport. Within that same year, I went from moving to Madrid with no certainty of what would come next to advising 44 leagues and engaging directly with FIFA's legal leadership. That experience changed everything fundamentally for me, and it remains a testament to the consistency, conviction, and resilience I bring into every episode of this show. Today, in addition to leading Pitchside Sports Consulting, I also serve as the only North American lawyer on the official lawyers list of the European Football Agents Association, which is the lead negotiator of the FIFA Football Agents regulations and a major global actor in agent reform. Each episode will be structured, accessible, digestible, and focused on a single idea, whether it be a regulation, a case, a compliance issue within FIFA's regulatory system, or a governance challenge. Others, hopefully, will feature guest experts from across the football legal system. Everything will be backed from content by the Football Regulatory Database, our companion Substack archive. Within that archive, you'll find already FIFA and CAS case summaries, explainer PDFs to help you navigate the FIFA Football Tribunal and the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and legal frameworks for implementation. Because listening is great, but implementation and actionable steps is where transformation actually happens. So, with all of that said, if this is your world, or if this is a world you want to be within, here's how to get started. Follow the podcast wherever you're listening. Subscribe to the Football Regulatory Database via Substack. And if you're part of a club, agency, league, federation, university, or law firm within the CONCACAF region, and you're ready to stop guessing and start aligning with FIFA's global football regulatory standards with Lex Sportiva, it's time to reach out to Pitchside Sports Consulting. Within the region, we're already moving forward, working with stakeholders across Canada, the Caribbean, and Central America, helping them align with the legal, governance, and economic standards of the global game. This is without question. However, at the same time, and in the same country, the CONCACAF Gold Cup is posting record low attendance, with some matches drawing just a few thousand fans in major American markets. The contrast couldn't be clearer. And it isn't just about branding or star power, it's about regulatory alignment. Unlike FIFA tournaments, which follow the international match calendar, CONCACAF continues to struggle with regional planning, scheduling, and competitive relevance. A failure to align with global standards has real consequences on visibility, economics, and legitimacy. And at the center of that failure is a deeper issue, a lack of legal and institutional literacy. The football economy is already moving forward. The only question is, will we be a part of it within CONCACAF, or will we be left behind? Thank you for listening to the podcast. This is the Football Regulatory Podcast. I hope you stay in touch because we are only getting started.